Hello viewers, welcome once again to our channel. This is Nelly's TV, where we help you to make good use of your brain, okay, and think very, very articulately. And our target is mostly to Africans and those who exist in the geographical enclave called Nigeria today, because what the politicians and their cohorts have done to people's brain in these places is very, very alarming. And that is why we try to, bring people back to normal reasoning through our expositions here. So we bring news analysis, history, and history analysis. All right, so today, what are we going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about one of the biggest news that broke the internet yesterday. Today's date is 14th of July, 2025. So yesterday was Sunday, 13th July, 2025, and there was a very major news breakout. And that's what we're going to be looking into. And before we do that, I would like to use this opportunity to crave your indulgence. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do well to do so. Like the video and also share it with your loved ones. Let's go. So, what is the big news I'm talking about? Let's look at this. All right. So, on the 12th, look at the date, 12th of July 2025, Sahara reporters came up with this news headline and said, explosive. Two former Nigerian leaders, Abdul Salami Abubakar, and Buhari sick and dying in London. So that was the headline of the news. We are not going deep into that. That was Saturday, 12th of July, 2025. And now you ask yourself, did you ever hear at any point in time that they were just sick, or the sickness just came and immediately became critical? All right. Because I have always told you, the so-called Nigerians, the people who so-call themselves Nigerians, the problem you have is that you don't make use of your senses. The senses that God has given you free of charge, you reserve them, you just keep them aside and begin to, use the senses of another person, or should I say, allow another person to use your senses for you. And more especially in this case, it is the politicians that use the senses of the ordinary people. A politician can just come out in Nigeria and tell you that an object that is clearly white in color is black. And everybody will clap, wah, 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 wah. Oh, yes, it is black, it is black. They all know that this object is white, but they will just accept that it is black because the politician said so. And all of them will just go back home sheepishly, singing praises, singing it that object, that white object is black. The white object will remain black for as long as that politician remains in the office. And the day he leaves office, it will turn back to a white object. That is the kind of gullible and docile people we have in Nigeria. That was why Rotimi Amaechi, that is Chibuike Amaechi, when he went to a particular program organized by some of those intellectuals we have in Nigeria, those who always sound politically correct, always organizing one symposium, one expose, one conference or seminar or the other to speak grammar on how Nigeria will become a better country, thinking that politicians and Fulani listen to grammar. They organized one and invited Rotimi Amaechi to come and speak to them on how Nigeria will become a better place. Amaechi looked at them in the face and told them, look, Nigerians are the most docile people I have seen on the planet Earth. And I agree with him, because people there don't use their brains, they don't use their senses. So all these things have been playing out, and even when people are supposed to think, they don't think. So we're going to be looking at certain things. So after that, this news on July 12th, look at the news on July 13th of July 2025. It was um, an X post published by Garba Shehu. You remember Garba Shehu? Garba Shehu was one of the media aides to the so-called Buhari when Buhari was the president of Nigeria. Garba Shehu and Femi Adesina were the two very most pronounced media aides. In fact, they served as the presidency because what we had during Buhari's time was presidency. We didn't have president. Every time they wanted to manipulate Nigeria, they would come out and just issue a statement. The presidency says, and it becomes a law. And the National Assembly cannot even question it. So Garba Shehu, look at him. He wrote here yesterday that the family of the former president has announced the passing on of the former president Muhammadu Buhari GCFR this afternoon in a clinic in London. So he eventually gave up in London. All right. These are people who ruled their country, but each time they fell sick, they ran to another man's country to get treated. And when they were in power, this Garba Shehu and co, all of them were shouting, hey, the president is working hard. He's fixing infrastructure. Hey, infrastructure is getting to the type you have in heaven. Where is the infrastructure today that they are running to a London clinic to get treated? If they actually fixed anything, why was this so-called Buhari not treated in Nigeria? But you know what? That's not even the main issue here. I just want to point out that those of you who keep following these politicians foolishly and sheepishly, you should begin to use your head to know that they are just manipulating you. They tell you that things are working, they are putting things in order, and you keep singing the choruses without seeing anything. You don't see anything, and you are jumping up and down that they are working. Today, where is the hospital? He gave up in London. According to them, the so-called Buhari gave up in London. But now, let us continue our discussion. So my main question now is, which Buhari in particular gave up? Which Buhari are we talking about now? Which of the Buharis we have seen or we saw during his 8 years term actually passed on in London yesterday? Because we saw many Buharis, many pictures. We saw old Buhari, we saw young Buhari, we saw fat Buhari, we saw slender Buhari, we saw dark Buhari, and we saw fair Buhari. Some were very tall, some were a bit shorter, some could speak Fulfulde, that is Fulani language, some could not. Okay, so many Buharis in one Buhari. Which one actually passed on in London yesterday? This is one question I would like the gullible Nigerians and intellectuals and those who sound politically correct to answer. Because they will see all these things, yet they will not say it. They will not boldly say that, hey, look at the truth. Oh. These people have been, playing on our intelligence and we didn't just care to talk. They will continue. I have seen a lot of condolence messages flying up and down, claiming that the Buhari actually passed on and they are felicitating with his family. What a joke. Just what a joke. I am going to show you why I am asking this question, because we remember that many things happened when Buhari went to London Hospital in 2017 and spent there about 3 months, and people began to shout that he should come back to Nigeria and begin to rule his country and continue ruling his country. Throughout that period, there was no rulership, there was no president, because he didn't even transmit power to his assistant. What do you call him again? Is the vice president now, Femi. What's his name? I've even forgotten the name of these nonsensical people. Okay, so he didn't even transmit power to his assistant. Everywhere was just left vacant. And it was this Garba Shehu and Femi Adesina that were ruling in the name of presidency. There was no president. That is what Fulani can do. You are living, and according to law, you are supposed to transmit power. You refuse to transmit power, and your media aides are the ones telling us the presidency says. Useless entity, and they call it a country. No country functions like Nigeria. Nigeria is a very useless contraption. And the only thing that is best for Nigeria now is to split it. Let people go their separate ways and run their country. That place is a charade. And people keep managing it because they are stealing the commonwealth of the people. Those who have not had the opportunity are begging to enter there so they can also steal. You know, somebody like Kenneth Okonkwo. Somebody like Kenneth Okonkwo. That is, Andy Okeke. Always speaking useless grammar because he's looking for an opportunity to go into government and also steal his own share. Because what is he going to do? He cannot do anything. Those are the intellectuals you are talking about. Let's continue. So look at this. Okay. Now, I would like to point out certain things to us because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said in 2017 up to 2018 and so on, he propagated that news for a very long time that Buhari gave up in a London hospital in 2017. They kept arguing and telling the whole world that Nnamdi Kanu was blabbing, he was talking rubbish, he had no evidence, he had no proof, and all that and all that. But Nnamdi Kanu was very, very vehemently talking about it. He gave the proof in several ways, yet people debunked it because they wouldn't believe Nnamdi Kanu, they would rather believe the lies of politicians. Nnamdi Kanu said this man had given up. He had passed on in London in 2017. In fact, he mentioned February 2017. February 2017. And he gave many proofs. But people rejected it. Okay, because they saw somebody whom they presented as Buhari, and they say, who is this person? Oh my goodness. So, in order to continue to deceive the gullible Nigerians, in August 2017, they claimed that Buhari came back to Nigeria. All right, after much pressure and demonstration by Nigerians living in London, asking him to go back home. They claimed that the man was back to Nigeria. Somebody whom they say was critically ill and could not even stand up. The moment people demonstrated, the next few days, he became well and went back to Nigeria. These are things that are happening, and Nigerians don't use their heads to connect dots. They just agree, hey, he has recovered, he's back. How could somebody who was critically ill and could not even stand up, they could not even allow his wife Aisha to go and see him because they said he was too ill and could not see anybody. After demonstration, after protest, it was just about 3 days difference. He recovered and came back to Nigeria. And Nigerians, as gullible as they are, could not even use their senses to put things together. They just believed that he came back. Look at it. Okay? But look at what they did. When the so-called Buhari returned to Nigeria, what did they tell us? They said, Nigeria's Muhammadu Buhari returns from sick leave, finds out that rats have taken over his office. Can you imagine? Rats took over the office of the president. Does it mean they were not sweeping it while he was away? Does it mean they were not cleaning the office while he was away? You know? And the next thing they did was that they said, no, a president cannot work from office. So he has to work from home because rats have taken over the office. We need to clean it. We need to fix it. So you people knew that the president was returning, and yet you could not clean his office and get it ready for him, only for him to return. And on that day, he wanted to enter his office and rats chased him away. Rats took over his office. And Nigerians gullibly believe this story also. That's why I say that I have never seen a set of people as gullible and docile and senseless, brainless like so-called Nigerians. They believe anything their politicians garbage out of their mouths. That is Nigerians for you. So people, if you like, begin now to use your head and to put things together and to ask yourself, what actually transpired? What actually happened? Okay? Now, let me scroll down a bit and show us a few things. Look at this one. Can you see several pictures of Buhari here? We all saw all these Buharis. Okay? You ask yourself, which one actually passed on yesterday? Okay, let's go down a bit more. Now, look at these two Buharis. This was Buhari in 2015. Old man. Okay? But Buhari in 2018 became younger than Buhari in 2015. Nigerians saw all these Buharis. But if you talk to them, they say, hey, wait, you are talking rubbish. You are not making any sense. Buhari is Buhari. It is Buhari. It is the same Buhari, right? Now, can you answer me another question? Ever since this Buhari left office in 2023, who ever saw him again physically and confirmed that it was Buhari? He left and they claimed he went to Daura, his home in Daura, in Katsina State, and disappeared completely. He never showed up in the public again. I stand to be corrected. If you saw him in the public, please let me know. And the next thing we heard was that he had relocated to Kaduna because of high level of insecurity in Daura, in his hometown in Daura in Katsina State. He ran away to Kaduna. But don't forget that this was the spokesperson of Boko Haram in 2012. When Jonathan asked Boko Haram to present their spokesperson, they mentioned this Buhari. But now, he ran away from his hometown, Daura, to Kaduna because of insecurity. That was the next thing we had. We never heard that Buhari was sick at all. The next thing we heard was that he was critically ill in a London hospital. And the next thing we heard again was that he had passed on yesterday. Nigerians, yet you cannot use your head. You cannot put things together with your head. The day Nigerians begin to make use of their head, that is the day Nigeria will begin to get better. But for now, it's not yet time. They are not yet making good use of their head. They don't make use of their brains, their senses. They have reserved it for politicians to use. Look at this man. His name is Eric Joyce. Who is Eric Joyce? Eric Joyce is a former UK member of parliament, a lawmaker. He shared his condolences on Buhari's passing on. The condolence message is still on his X account. That was in 2017. Eric Joyce shared his condolence with the family of Buhari. Okay, in 2017, this post, this X post is still there on his account. We see it. Eric Joyce said, very sad to learn here, he made a mistake, hear of the death of President Buhari, whom I campaigned for. So Eric Joyce was a campaigner for Buhari, okay, in 2014. And then Buhari won and occupied office in 2015. Look at it. To learn of his passing on. And he said thoughts with his wife, Aisha Buhari, and family. That was a rejoice he posted 17th May. He was a lawmaker. So for you, just so you don't say that he's just one of those touts who were just blabbing. He's not an ordinary person. He knows what he's saying. He said again, the president of one of the world's largest and most sensitive countries that passed on in London today. In our main news bulletin, not a word, which means in BBC, MSNBC, they never said anything. It was a deliberate, a calculated attempt, a calculated act to hide it so as to bring somebody else to continue ruling Nigeria. So Nigerians, can you use your brain and think? He said again, Nigeria, it's for a president to prove he's alive, not his people to prove he's not. And he wrote again, Nigerian President Buhari's wife refused access. Chief of Staff, 79-year-old Abba Kyari in charge now. That was when Buhari was still sick, and Aisha Buhari went there, to see her husband, and they denied him access. Abba Kyari was the one in charge. Are you getting it? And let me show you this. See, look at a Rejoice account. It is still active. His X handle is still active. And look at one of those posts. The president of one of the world's largest and most sensitive countries passed on in London today. In our main news bulletins, not a word, Buhari. That is a Rejoice. His account is still active. It's still active. May 19, 2017, that was when he published this. And this Rejoice, he didn't end there. He challenged Nigeria because they were telling him, hey, your news is not correct. Your information is not correct. Because why is it that none of the news media is talking about it? I, personally, talking to you, I read the news on Metro UK. Metro is one of the news media in UK. It's a newspaper. I read the newspaper version. Okay. The newspaper which they published the news on that in that 2017. I read it in the morning. In the evening, the news disappeared. Metro UK removed it. Okay. So, Eric Jones told Nigeria and said, I challenge you. If you say that I am making a bogus claim about the passing on of your president, this is your president. Come and sue me. Sue me. Let me bring facts and prove that he has passed on. He mentioned specifically Femi Adesina and asked him, you are the media aide, sue me. Femi Adesina refused. He didn't sue Rejoice. After some time again, he made the claim again and challenged Femi Adesina again and Nigerian government and said, Nigerian presidency, I am challenging you. If you say what I'm saying is a bogus claim, come and sue me. I am here. They refused to sue him. They even refused to reply him. Why are they afraid? And look, let me tell you, before Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, this very last time he was kidnapped, which is still in the DSS dungeon, facing trial, illegal trial of, for that matter, of course, they were all shouting, hey, let's arrest Nnamdi Kanu, let him come and prove how he came about the conclusion, the assertion that Buhari had passed on. He must come and prove it. He must come and prove it. Arrest him, until they went to Kenya and abducted him and brought him to Nigeria in 2021. And since then, he has been in the office, getting in the DSS detention, getting to 5 years today. They have amended their count charges against Nnamdi Kanu over and over. 15 count charge, 8 count charge, 7 count charge, and so on. They go up, they go down. And of all these count charges, they have never mentioned the case of his claim that Buhari passed on in 2017. They have carefully avoided that. Why are they avoiding it? This was the same Nnamdi Kanu they say, come and prove. Now he is in their detention for getting to 5 years. They can't bring up that charge against him. Why are they afraid? Nigerians, can you please for once begin to make use of your senses? Let's continue. Look at this. Look at this. This is Buhari. I'm going to show us different phases of Buhari. This was Buhari in 2016, okay? An old man. And this was Buhari in 2020, a younger man. Let's continue. This is the same Rejoice, okay? Saying, breaking news, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has passed on. The same Rejoice, very sad to learn here of the death of President Buhari, whom I campaigned for. So he was one of his campaign allies. That was in 2017. The same Rejoice, member of parliament, the lawmaker. You know, the same text we have seen before. Nigerians, do you ever make use of your senses? Do you ever make use of your brains? You just believe whatever your politicians tell you. I will not go into the condolence message written by Queen Elizabeth. I'm not very sure of that, okay? But the one I'm sure is the one I'm showing us, which Rejoice is still alive. His Twitter handle is still active. That's the one I'm showing us. But you know the main thing, I would like you to continue watching this video. Let me prove something to you, which will blow your mind, because Nigerians, you don't make use of your brain, and we are here to teach you how. Look at this news. Read this news. Buhari's health. Garba Shehu's confession vindicates Kanu. Can you imagine that? Okay, maybe you didn't get the point. I'm going to show you this news. This is Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard is a Nigerian newspaper, so it's not just any kind of newspaper. And it was on July 12, 2025. That is just 2 days ago. Look at what Vanguard wrote. You recall that they said that rat chased Buhari out of office when he returned from hospital. Look at the headline. It says, Buhari's head, Garba Shehu's confession vindicates Kanu. IPOB says so. And look at the news. You are going to read it. It says, in part, Garba Shehu had reportedly admitted in his book that the rat-infested narrative circulated during President Buhari's absence in 2017 was not entirely accurate and was used as a public explanation why the president was undergoing medical treatment abroad. So what does that tell you? Garba Shehu blatantly lied to Nigerians that rat infested the president's office. So why was he lying? Why was he lying that rat infested the president's office? If he was not covering up something, why did he lie? Not only that, let's go to Sahara Reporters. Look at him. Garba Shehu admits Aso Rock rat invasion story was fabricated to distract Nigerians from Buhari's ill health conversation. Look at the Garba Shehu. Look at his face. He's a very big-time blatant liar. This is the takia we talk about in Islam. Fulani applies it a lot. They can lie through every part of their teeth. Okay, so Garba Shehu wrote a book recently, which he published on July 12th. Look at the date. And there he said the truth. He said the truth. He said, now read. Former presidential spokesperson Garba Shehu has admitted that the now infamous story of rat invading former President Muhammadu Buhari's office at the Aso Rock Villa was a carefully crafted media spin to divert public attention from concerns about the president's health at that time. Nigerians, those who claim to be politically correct, those intellectuals who like speaking grammar and saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a liar, what can you say about this? Garba Shehu wrote a book, a textbook, not just a mere verbal statement. He wrote it in his book and admitted he lied. So what does that tell you? What was he hiding? Read on. In his newly launched book, according to the president, Lessons from a Presidential Spokesperson's Experience, that is the title of the book. You can go and look for it and read also. He said, Shehu reveals how he deployed a bizarre but effective distraction tactic at a time when Nigerians were increasingly questioning whether Buhari was physically and mentally fit to govern. It will be recalled that former President Buhari had returned to Nigeria on August 19, 2017. That was the claim he returned. Okay, because right here we can't believe anything they say anymore. They are liars. After spending nearly 3 months in the United Kingdom receiving medical treatment, his prolonged absence had sparked nationwide speculation about his capability upon return. There are many things he said. So it is in the chapter 10 of that book, if you care to look for it. But there is one thing he said, which I just want. He said, at a later meeting, Minister of Information Lai Mohammed and Vice President Yemi Osibanjo asked why I had gone with that story. I told them it was intentional. I wanted the conversation to shift away from the president's ill health. In my view, that spin worked because Nigerians are gullible, so they believed it. He said the spin worked, he wrote. However, Shehu noted that both officials, that is, both Information Minister and Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, it was Yemi Osibanjo I was trying to remember his name, these people. So, however, Shehu noted that both officials agreed with his assessment disagreed, sorry. They disagreed with his assessment, saying the distraction had fallen flat. Well, which flat did it fall? It worked. It worked very well because Nigerians believed you. Nigerians believed the lies. They couldn't use their head. They couldn't use their brain, just as I have always said. So, you see, that is why we tell people, begin to make use of your senses, begin to make use of your brain. Stop believing everything these politicians garbage out because they are big time liars. Now, Garba Shehu has accepted that he lied to Nigerians. He lied to 200 million, more than 200 million persons, and they just accepted that rat chased the president out of office. There is nothing we've not heard from Nigeria. And each time they say it, people just accept, and that ends it. Okay? And that ends it. It is very, very amazing how so-called Nigerians accept rubbish in the name of news from politicians. But what can we do? It is only those whom they deceive that they will continue to deceive, not people like us. So we are here to make you to use your senses, use your brain rightly, and think properly like a normal human being. Okay? So today, ask yourself, which Buhari passed on? Which of them? Which one in particular? Did anybody actually pass on yesterday? Please, Nigerians, so-called Nigerians, that's entirely your cup of tea, okay? If you like, begin now to think. If you don't like, continue to, continue to suspend your brain and allow the politicians play ping pong with your head. So that's what we have for us today. And I want to urge us once again, if you are a Biafran, if you are Igbo, begin now to think home. Begin now to think of how to get your freedom from that contraption called Nigeria. It is not a country. Look at the kind of things that happen in the so-called country. People, somebody coming out to lie blatantly to 200 million persons and they accept it. This is not a country. And it's not a country any reasonable human being would like to be proud of and live in and accept belonging to. Biafrans, we have to go home. We have to go to our own country called Biafra. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter whether you like those who are leading the struggle or not. What matters is what is in Nigeria that is still making you to be interested in it. It is a useless contraption. You have to be hungry to go to your own country that functions properly like a proper country. Come and support this struggle. Nobody is saying that you should carry arm and begin to face anybody. No. The Biafra Republic government in exile, ably led by Mazi Simon Ekpa and now led in acting capacity by Mazi Ginkere, is up to the task. They are equal to the task. They are doing the work. They are doing the needful. There is an army. There is Biafra army already there doing the needful, fighting our way out of Nigeria. All you need to do is come and make your contribution, financial donation. Okay? You can always come to this our channel every Saturday evening as from 7 o'clock Biafra time, and we'll be streaming the fundraising. And then you donate the most you can to take care of two major things now. Number one, diplomatic consultation with international communities to recognize our country, and two, fighting our way out of the contraption from the terrorists that are attacking us back home, which the army is rightly doing. So these are the two ways we are pursuing this freedom for now, and you just have to be part of it. Just fund it and forget about what happens next. The people doing it are doing the needful. Come and fund your freedom. All those countries you envy today, they did the same thing. They funded their liberation. They fought for it. Okay? Their countries didn't just become good overnight. It was bad at some point, but they fought their way out of the bad governance and made their country better. And today you are rushing for their visa. You can't continue running to other people's country. Make your country to be good, but you cannot do it by folding your arms and saying, hey, I don't like what they are doing in that Biafra struggle. Go and do the right thing. So that is what we have for us today. And thank you for listening. Come back for another news and news analysis next time. We are still here. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please don't forget to do so before leaving. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and bye for now.